Hey familia, what's up? Still getting after it. Throughout the next days, I'm going to be re-signing up to the competition. I did not finish it. You see all the snow? That I'm literally, look, whoa, my foot is literally full. The competition was worse than that, way worse. And I couldn't finish it. So now we're back to training. I literally couldn't finish it, not because of the snow, but because I didn't have the balls to do the last lap with so much pain that I was in and so tired, and it was dark and alone and it was freezing cold, and I just didn't have the balls to get into a last 21-kilometer lap. But I do take the lessons with me, all of them, and so now back to training and back to grind mode within a couple of days.
Familia, what is going on? So what you guys have just seen there is a video of me, let's get this in the proper position, just speaking my thoughts while I was working out earlier this week. However, the video is not, it's not that I've been lying to you in the video, but what I thought I was gonna do in the video has turned out to be a totally different decision. I have decided not to sign up to the race that is happening in May the 2nd. I don't know if I'm gonna eventually sign up like the week before on an impulsive call. I've been for the last week a little bit slow in my decision making. I do think that it's important that as soon as we can, we do the work to, you know, whenever we are confronted with a decision, to be able to stay still and fully present in front of the path. See the two paths, decision one way, decision the other way, and make the decision and never look back. And never look back, so you don't have to worry about regretting the decisions. And I do think that the faster that we get to do that, the better it is. The further and the faster we move into life. But that takes some, making big decisions like this always takes some reflection. It takes previous experiencing. It takes distilling the actual things that had happened and the lessons, getting very clear on, you know, having clarity for making the decision and fully committing to the decision. And I thought that I had decided to sign up to the race. At the end of the day, I came back home and I started writing in my journal. I started writing like the training for every single day from here until May the 2nd. And after writing it, I realized, hey, this is a big sacrifice. Again, how important is this for me? How important is just training and pushing myself? And so I had to go back to thinking, well, why am I doing this? Like, why is it that I'm running, and why is it that I'm signing up to competition? I don't know if I'm sweaty right now. I literally just came from a run. But I had to think about, why is it that I'm doing it? And the reason why I'm doing it is because for me, it's very important to push myself every single day. To every single day do something that I don't want to do. And to do it well, right? And ideally, I want to do it in a way where I am constantly beating my previous records. However, I have realized that my relationship to it is not necessarily one that allows me to have fun. And I think I'm just done with not having fun. You know, I'm just done with I love to run. Like, literally, we were watching a movie with my girl last week, and at some point, the guy in the movie, Brad Pitt, ends up dying, and he ends up being killed by a bear. And the narrator of the movie says, well, he ended up getting killed, but it was a good death. And my girl was like, you guys are just so crazy, like thinking about that it was a good death to be killed by a bear, you know? Like, she said, I want to die in my sleep. I want to die just relaxing and just sleeping, and then poof, I just don't wake up. That's how I want to die. And I was like, fuck, that's not how I want to die. Like, I want to die moving. I want to die in action. I want to die doing something that I'm passionate about. And I was like, I think I want to die doing something that's hard. And my girl was like, oh, Arnau, for you, I would like you to die just writing something or just reading something, you know, something that's peaceful. I'm like, wow, I actually don't want that. Like, I don't want to, even though I love to read and I love to learn and I love to pass the knowledge, I don't want to die doing something like that. I want to die with more skin in the game. I want to die with more, you know, I want to be at peace, and I want to be doing something that I love. And that for me is running. And it's not running in the city, to be honest. Like, and I have nothing against running in the city or people running in the city, but it's running in nature that really moves me. Running in the mountains, running in the cold, running and seeing goats, and then being in this, like being a bit far from society, the silence, just all of that truly moves me. And the whole training, going back to the training, wouldn't have made me get more of what I love. It would have just made me have to sacrifice more. I'm already training a lot of hours a day. I mean, at the moment, this week alone, I've run, I think it's been 91.8 kilometers. So I've gone for 5 days. I've been going out, and I've run 20 kilometers every day this week, except one day that I took a 10 kilometer run, or 11.8. And I've been having so much fun just relaxing and just doing the running and not having to have like a big goal that makes me push and makes me. So I think it's time for me to balance a bit. Because when I get to 30, 40, and you have to think that for yourself as well, when we get to 30, 40, where do we want to be? What do we want to be able to say about us? Because if I get to 40, and I think, or even 30, which is 4 years from now, I'm 26 today, and all that I've done is just run races, run far, and endured physically, I've lost. I haven't gone anywhere. I want to build shit as well. I want to build community. I want to build myself, to transform myself in the process. And these runs, they do help with that. They get me to that point of clarity. They get me to push myself. They get me to get to moments where I get to learn some lessons. And the big runs is where the lessons are learned, because it's when I want to quit the most, because that's when I get to the limit. And it is very important for me to every single day be better than I was yesterday. And I only get to do that by getting to the limit, by getting to the edge of what I've previously achieved. And that can be, that's another notebook. I can either like just track here the last lift, I can track the last run, I can track how many sales calls I did the other day, or what's the maximum of calls that I've booked, and I can, there's a number of things, or pages read, or content made, and I think that it's important to go to the edge. But it would be a mistake from me with the multi-dimensional approach to life that I have, where for me it's not just about training, it's not just about pushing myself, it's not just about being strong and looking strong. This is important. To me, it's about building stronger people, and that requires experiencing, reflecting, having the time and the space to think and come up with the lessons, teaching the lessons, passing them here, and making strong decisions. And And I'm in a season right now where I'm in a capacity building season. I want to be running and lifting all my life. And I want to be making money from my passion. So I'm in another phase. I can't be just focusing on the running. I have to be more patient. And I'm sharing all of this because, not just because it allows me to to like find the words to structure my thought and be clear in my decision, and also to be held accountable, but also because many of you maybe or may feel, I don't know if you guys feel it, for me as a man, sometimes I feel like I'm confused, like I don't know what to do, like I'm done working and I have the whole evening ahead and I have no idea what it is that I want to do in that period of the evening. And I don't want to lose time. I don't want to just sit and watch a movie. And you can work out, but maybe you've already worked out in the morning like me, or maybe you can stretch, but it's not fun, you know. You want to, and I felt confused sometimes. But what I experienced really, it's not that I'm confused about my mission. It's not that I'm confused about where I want to go. I'm just impatient about where I want to go. And therefore, there's nothing this evening that moves me so far into the future where it gets me close enough to my goals. I'm just impatient. So I've just decided to totally reframe the period of my life that I'm in right now. I'm in a capacity building phase where I'm going to be building myself financially, building my relationship, building myself so that I can be deep psychologically, building myself physically, building myself as an authority, sharing the content. So there's just a lot of priorities. And if there's one thing that I don't want to do, and I feel like sometimes, you know, I haven't posted content in 2 weeks. I haven't said, I didn't finish the competition, and I've barely spoken about it. Not because I'm ashamed of it, but just because I just didn't want to post content, you know. But that, I don't want that. I don't want to be the kind of person. I don't think it's a value. I think only losers stop doing the thing that they've said that they would do when they get tired of it. Like, imagine if I just switch relationships whenever I just get tired, or if I just switch jobs whenever I just get tired, or if I just stop working out whenever I just get tired. Like, I think it's important for me now to be building capacity, and maybe for you too. Decide in which phase of life you're gonna be. I think that it's very important for men that we, first of all, get to prove ourselves and others, but ourselves first, that we can dominate our body, that we can control our instincts of overeating, of smoking, or staying addicted to some substances. Yes, even coffee, even porn. That we can control our childish habits as well of not accepting love from people, or whatever those may be for you. I think that those are important. It's important for a man to dominate those. Now, when that phase is stabilized, and I'm not saying dominated, because I don't think, like, it's this game of growing, it's never finished. Like, if I don't go for my run tomorrow, it could cascade down into places where I don't want to be. This game is just never finished. It's just important that we get to a phase, but that we maintain that phase stable. So, and that only happens, in my case, with some rules. I actually have here right me some of my rules. I don't know if you can see them, but you gotta read them. Every day, awake at 4:30 a.m. That's a bit late for me right now. Every day, do my physio-energetic alchemy practices, just some meditation and breath work. Every day workout. Don't eat cake, ice cream, peanut butter, or yogurts. Every day learn something new. Every day have some time in love and intimacy. And this last thing I haven't been doing, actually. Weekly 24-hour fast and weekly dating. You know, rules allow us to stabilize those phases of life that are important for us. So they're an opportunity. Rules are an opportunity as long as we decide our rules. I can't stand people that just follow everyone's rules, like the rules that society imposes, and you know, stay in line. I want people, I want to cultivate people that think for themselves and decide which rules apply to them or not. But the second phase of dominating yourself and being in touch with the instinct, I think it has to be to build something. Don't men build something? Don't, I mean, you guys decide what it is for you to be men. But for me, other than being responsible, penetrating, not just women, but also the world, it's an attitude of poof, of getting things done. There's a lot of other values that you guys may come up with. And for me, men that build houses, men that build families, men that build relationship communities, those are masculine traits. And by the way, those have to be defined. You have to define what it is for you to be authentically masculine, or if you're a woman, what it is for you to be authentically feminine. And then, even as a man, you can even think about yourself, like when or how do you get to balance that? Because you can't just be masculine and just be feminine and be balanced. I mean, otherwise nothing gets done. Or you get so much done, but then you have no rest and then you crumble, or nothing gets done. So I think it's important to get to build. So let's build some capacity for whenever the time comes to start building. So that video, hope you enjoyed it. Got to decide which kind of phase are you guys in. I know which phase I'm in, and I look forward to sharing some more of these videos. I'm going to be learning for sure. This week, by the way, I've been reading, let me share it with you. I've been reading this book, The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. Guys, this is a fantastic book, heavily on biology, but I'm getting to distill some solid principles about how people and organizations, like how power is and the outcomes of of what happens is driven by the incentives that people have. And I'm already applying this into my sales calls. Whenever I hop onto the call, I make sure that I appealing to the incentives that the people that I'm speaking to has. And then I've also been reading these two books. Undeniable by Cameron Hanes. This book is so good. I love this book. It's about, so Cameron Hanes is the best bow hunter in the world, and he's been interviewing in his podcast a bunch of interesting people and distilling some good lessons on discipline, passion, a bunch of other things that I like and that I value. And then this book, I got it secondhand, so it doesn't have a cover, but it's a book called Good Energy by Casey Means. She's a doctor, and it's all about it's all about organizing and engineering your environment, so your food, everything that is in the outside of your body, so that you are not just healthy but thriving in energy, which for me is important. It's important because the more energy you have, the more shit you can get done. So let's just keep hammering, as Cameron Hanes says. Let's just keep hammering. I look forward to, I'm constantly exercising, constantly training. I think that now it's important for me to not slow down, but be able to reflect and make strong decisions. And I'm sure that everyone values from that. The sooner decisions are made, the further we go. Let's go, guys. Let's go. All right, so just because I know that a lot of you guys don't love reading, I want to share with you one of the models that I've recently learned, a model that I've developed with the help of books, which I call the Zebras and Unhappy Marriages model. So why is Europe richer than Africa? Why are some marriages happy and others collapse? What makes one elite athlete succeed over the others? And systems where the question that you are asking is whether, like, who is going to win, who is going to succeed, who is going to survive. You are playing with systems where there's a number of variables that all have to be satisfied. You have to check all of them, and not checking one of them leads to disaster. If you're an athlete and you have the best genetics and you have the best nutrition and you recover fantastic and you have the best trainers, but you're injured, you can't compete. You can't win. If you are a business that has the best idea, that has the best people in the team, that has a good reputation, but it's not profitable, you can't succeed. Right? You don't have anything to, no, you don't have margins or surplus to invest into the next year. You can't succeed. The areas in life where you have to, or the questions that you're asking is, when do you survive? You need a bunch of variables to check. And being strong in one area does not compensate or offset being weak in another area. Whereas in some other areas of life, for example, in sales, if you're asking, instead of which salesman is going to survive, if you're asking how well is each person going to do in these areas, you don't, like, maybe you can be bad at persuasion, but you may have a fantastic product, and that does that does a lot. Like, these properties are additives, and so this is what I call the unhappy marriages and zebras model. So when Europe started to domesticate animals, Europe had access to animals that satisfied a number of qualities that are important for animals to be domesticated. Whereas when Africa tried to domesticate animals, they found animals that had great strengths in some areas, but they were not able to be domesticated. For example, zebras. Zebras may have some fantastic food, but they can be aggressive. Or having hyenas. Hyenas may have some fantastic food, but they are carnivore, and you don't want to have a carnivore animal in your house, not because it may have a tendency to kill you, but because to feed a carnivore animal, you must first feed a herbivore or omnivore animal. Therefore, you must have a lot of grass to feed them first. So there's a ladder there that is needed. So Africa had less domesticatable animals than Europe. Europe succeeded in doing that. Now, what happened with unhappy marriages? This is what Leo Tolstoy, and I've learned this from a book called Guns, Germs, and Steel from Jared Diamond. What happened with unhappy marriages? Well, all happy marriages look the same and are happy for the same reasons, right? They all do well economically, or they have similar economics. They all have a sexual polarity that is maintained in time. They all have, they strive for like the same projects, XYZ. All unhappy marriages have their own reasons for not being unhappy, right? So you need to satisfy all qualities, and being strong in one of the quality, having the best sex but not having money, will not lead you to surviving or to winning. So if you guys develop your own models of thinking to look through life, you can start understanding. You can start making better decisions. You understand the world better. You understand how things work. You understand that a number of conditions, in this case, must be met in order for survival. And therefore, you work according. And you ask the questions to other people, for example, when you're selling, accordingly. So that's why I like reading. That's why I like developing my models. I hope you guys enjoyed not just this short clip, but also the whole video today. Let's go.